Hi, thanks for watching Drinking with Nerds. I'm Alex, and this is Bar Shots. Alright, so today I'm going to be talking about comics. But while this isn't going to be my last comic book related video, I figured since it's my very first, what better topic to talk about than my favorite superhero, Tim Drake, aka Red Robin. Now, instead of talking about his history, I'm going to be instead talking about why he's my favorite superhero. And to do that, I figured what better place to start than his first appearance. Now, Tim Drake was invented in 1984 by Marv Wolfman and Pat Broderick. And he first appeared in Batman issue 436, where it was all about this story about how after the death of Jason Todd, Batman was slowly spiraling down and down into this depression and slowly becoming more violent and more reckless and almost getting himself killed. And while several people realized this, like Dick Grayson and Alfred, they couldn't really help him. When all of a sudden this young kid shows up and asks Dick Grayson to go back to being Batman's sidekick. Now, this came out of nowhere because no one recognized who this kid was. Who was he? How did he know Batman's secret identity? One of the biggest and well-kept secrets in all of the DC universe. And it was an awesome way to not only introduce the character, but to show just how good of a detective that he would become. And that's one of my favorite things about Tim Drake is, while every Robin has his thing, like Dick Grayson is the best, Jason Todd is the violent one who was good at fighting, Damian's a dick, I guess. Tim Drake he's the detective, he's the smart one, he's more likely to beat you using his brains than his fists. And this instantly shows it, and it reveals that he didn't just find out that Batman was Bruce Wayne. He had known for years. He had figured it out when he was freaking 9, which I'm not sure if I said that was badass, but it's badass. And after Dick Grayson tells him that he can't go back to being Robin, Tim Drake decides, with a little encouragement from Alfred, that he would be the next Robin. And that's another thing that, to me, is so cool about the character, is because Dick Grayson, Jason Todd, they're all great characters. They're all great Robins. But Batman chose them. They didn't choose Batman. Even to an extent, Damian Wayne didn't choose Batman because that's his father. Of course, he was going to become Robin. Tim Drake, when he decided to become Robin, he didn't know Bruce at all. He didn't know Batman at all. But he decided to because Batman always needs a Robin. Not just to help him fight crime, but to keep him from being swallowed up by the darkness, from keeping him from destroying himself, like he was doing. And while Batman was a little reluctant at first, he quickly accepted that Tim was right, and that he accepted him as Robin, where he would continue in this identity for years, eventually even getting his own solo series, a first for that hero. It's something that even Dick Grayson didn't have. He was also the first Robin to include pants into the costume, which not only, no doubt, helped the rumors going on about him and Batman, but really just tied the whole look together, because think back to Batman, the animated series, and imagine one of the episodes with Dick Grayson in pixie shorts, and it really doesn't work. He also was the first Robin to include weapon in his arsenal, like the bow staff, which to me not only looks cool, but it helps set him apart from all the other Robins. And through the solo series and over the years, you got to see how Tim grew and became a better character and hero throughout the years, in spite of facing challenge after challenge and tragedy after tragedy, which included the death of not only his girlfriend, spoiler, that's her name, and both his parents. Unlike most Robins, he didn't become a hero after his parents died. His parents died because he was a hero. But despite that, he kept on going, and not because he was addicted to the adrenaline or because it was the only thing he could do, but because it was what he had to do. Because it was what was the right thing to do. And years go by until he finally can't be Robin anymore. And it wasn't his decision, but Dick Grayson's. He was temporarily Batman, while Bruce was dead? Time traveling? And it was because he couldn't see Tim as a sidekick. He could only see him as his equal, which not only was, to me at least, a good way to move Tim past this identity that he had been using for 10 plus years, but just a real good way to establish he wasn't a sidekick anymore. That he was ready to take up his own identity and be his own hero. Which brings us to probably my favorite part of Tim Drake's history, when he becomes Red Robin, which not only includes an awesome new costume, but a new solo series as well, that sees him traveling the world, trying to find clues to prove that Bruce Wayne isn't dead, he's just traveling through time because everyone thinks he's crazy because the story is crazy, and him fighting two evil organizations of evil assassins, one of which is Ra's al Ghul and his League of Assassins. A whole other bunch of villains, and it's a really good series, and especially the first part written by Christopher Yost, who you may know as the creator of Scarlet Spider, or the second Scarlet Spider, and X-23, and was one of the writers on X-Men Evolution. And it's a 20-something issue series, and I couldn't recommend it more. And he started in that series until it was unfortunately cancelled in the lead up to New 52, which kinda took everything that I've been talking about for the past few minutes and threw it away. But there is hope, because now not only is he in a new series called Young Justice, written by Brian Michael Bendis, who has experience writing young heroes such as Peter Parker, Miles Morales, and several X-Men characters throughout the years. And while it's early on and only a few issues are out, I highly recommend you pick it up, because hopefully it will reintroduce the Tim Drake that we all know and love. Anyway, that's it for me. Later days.